Hey guys, welcome back to Micho Makes. My name is Micho. I like to make stuff. Today we've got part number 83 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. This is the 1/8 scale massive model that we're building together. Without further ado, let's just jump right into this one. Alright, starting off, we've got our magazine here. Oh, we've got a cool advertisement. We'll take a look at that too as well. And we've got our door. Part number 83. This is the... Okay, so technically this is actually the driver's door on the 86, but the passenger door on the US version, obviously. And we've got our box here, and then we've got our cover. Let's take a look at the little advertisement that they have here. This is the 1/8 scale, I guess, garage set that actually looks really cool. You can see what you have here, and this is, I guess, extras that you can purchase, and you get like a tire rack, nice toolbox with actually some tools in it. You can actually hold some lug nuts. Looks like you have like a wrench. I don't know why they put the wrench down there. It should be up here. And it's funny, they also have like a crescent wrench in there, which is kind of funny. A dolly, a little mini toolbox here, and like even a floor jack. It's pretty cool. Nice little scale model, and it is scaled to 1/8 scale too as well, so it kind of matched the AE86 too. So you could actually dress up your model as you put it on display with these kind of tools. Again, more stuff for them to sell you, but I still think it's pretty cool to have these kind of scale tools. Oh, and an order form. So if you wanted to order this, you have that ability too. But I believe this model from 2024. I don't even think they offer this probably even through the mail service anymore. But I think you can still buy this on their website. So if you do have a proxy service that you use to get this kit, you can actually use that. All right, let's take a look at the magazine here. All right, let's check it out. Okay, looks like we have another featurette, or at least the volume 3 of the Watanabe expose in the magazines. I think they're a pretty big sponsor of this. I don't know. But I'll let you guys take a pause and read at that if you'd like, to just kind of see what's going on with this. And then they do go, I did look over this before, and they do go over kind of what their plans are in expanding the Watanabe brand and doing a lot of apparel stuff and trying to, it said something like building a surfboard. Okay, kind of interesting. But you can see like helmets and stuff too as well. One thing that they did highlight, and I'll go ahead and let you read this first, is they actually are, they showed at SEMA and had the new fully electric and like hydrogen AE86s there that they featured back in 2024, I believe. And all the rims that the cars were sitting on were the Watanabe rims, and they were pretty proud of that. And there's also a joint venture with Toyota Gazoo Racing too as well. So the GR stuff, but also he'd like to feature out a new demo car that they're planning on producing too as well, as being something that they're trying to really kind of feature new products with too as well. So RS Watanabe is doing a lot of stuff on their end. It's kind of funny that they got this whole. They're pretty. I mean, which is great. They're very supportive of the 86 and continuing to push these cars in the right direction. These cars are still extremely popular, and there's still a lot of fandom around it too as well, which is really nice. You don't see this with other models, and actual company supports, and the fact that you have these vehicles. Oh yeah, here is the hydrogen and the electric AE86s that they featured in, I believe it was Tokyo Auto Salon, I believe, or maybe it was SEMA. But you can see both of them are sitting on Watanabe wheels. This is the hydrogen one, and this is the electric one. Yeah, so they're doing a lot, and really cool that they're supporting and continue to support and produce products for these really old cars, almost 40 years old now. Okay, moving on, we have a featurette on the Chaser, the GX81. I'll let you go ahead and scan and read that if you'd like. But it is a really cool car. I think Toyota produced these vehicles in like kind of response to the Skylines too as well. God, look at those rims. They're kind of sick on that thing. That's actually really cool. You see a lot of this on like VIP culture too as well, these Chasers. I don't know too much about them, but I know that they are usually had really, really big engines too as well. Take a look at that. You can definitely tell like what year these were made. Like the production year, it looks like it was 1998 to 1992, and you can just tell kind of by the interior. It definitely falls in line that early 90s look interior too. I'll let you go ahead and read that, if you'd like, and also right there too. Tech specs of the vehicles too as well. GX81. 1G GZE. Is that a V6, I believe? Maybe an inline 6? Can't remember. Anyway, really cool cars. I don't know too much about them. I would like to learn more too as well. Still super popular. You can find these in America. People are importing them. They're past the age requirement. I think 25-year age requirement. And they are available, but a lot of them do get kind of clapped out because of drifters and stuff like that too. Okay, moving on to the part here. Yeah, same stuff that we did before. So grabbing the door, adding the trim. We're going to be adding in the door handle that we'd all done before. Adding in, the door keyhole. And that's really it. Pretty easy advertisement for the tool set. Then also, we have a featurette on drifting, and this one is about, instead of inertia drifting, about brake drifting. So, I'll let you guys take a look at that. Pause the video. I'll zoom in on this top section first if you'd like to read that, and then I'll move to the bottom section too. There you guys go. Hopefully that's in focus. And that's the magazine. All right, let me get the camera adjusted and we'll dive right into the part. All right, so diving right back into it. We've seen this part before. One thing you got to be thankful for is that we only have 2 of these instead of 4 like the wheels. So got our door here. Got a right side on it this time. Remember, the really nice part is that it's actually this one's actually painted really well. There were a little bit of chip marks on my edges on the left hand door, but this side looks beautiful actually in regards to the paint and the fit and finish. It's kind of like a tooling mark here. That's kind of interesting. I mean, you're never going to see this. This is the bottom edge of the door, but you can kind of see like a tooling mark here. It's kind of interesting. It's probably from the stamping machine. So my thought process and how this was produced is obviously they're laser cut or water jet cut as a flat piece, and then they get put into a stamping machine and then bent in all the directions too as well. You know what? I'm totally incorrect. This is cast. My bad. Seeing these marks here, these are sprue marks. You can see how they are actually cast this direction down. So these would have like vents coming up, but also these are the vents. And then these would be actually cast in here. So this is cast aluminum, I believe this is. Or this don't have a magnet. This might be steel. I don't think so. So I've got this little magnetic dish here. And this is indeed aluminum. You can tell this is not magnetic. Whereas if it's attached to here, you can tell that this magnet goes right to the table here, which is the steel here is magnetic. So yeah, these are cast aluminum. And you can see the pore lines or the areas where they they pour the casting in. So it's usually sand casted too as well, but then you can tell the cleanup lines here too as well, because this is from probably a rotary tool that they did in the manufacturing process. And there's a little bit of kind of roughness right here on the edge. I'm not complaining. It's just something. It's just kind of something cool to see in regards to how they produce these two as well. So let me see if we can actually see the edge here. I'll zoom in. Oh yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, right on the edge there. You can see that tooling, and that's probably from a grinder coming across here, and just to kind of clean it up. But you can then get a good view of the pouring that they did and all these kind of vents that come up, and they put vents in when they pour a piece like this, a piece of aluminum like this. The vents are go up, so they're going to be pouring it like in this orientation down here. Usually this is a sand cast too as well, from what I can tell, or it's going to be jetted off the side. So they'll have a bunch of these actually made in. I don't think it's lost wax. They could be doing that, something like that, where they have a bunch of them in a tree and then they pour them all at once, and they all kind of vent off, and then they're snipped off and then sanded down. But it's a real nice casting, though. You can tell. Cool. All right, moving on. We've got our trim piece here. Now this is plastic. This is not metal like the door. Gotta be very careful. Oh, okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't lose it. Here is our door handle, right there. We've seen that before. We got some AP screws. We got some MP screws, some YP screws, and the keyhole, the lock. So there that is, and that's what I was looking for. I just want to make sure I didn't lose this. So that's the part. Without further ado, let's just jump right into this one. All right, first piece we got to put on is the trim piece here, and it is actually pretty idiot-proof because you can see how much these are offset on each side. You can see this is much further than this side, so you can't really put this on incorrectly, and you just kind of match up this R right here, and you just kind of place it on. It is that simple, and you actually, I think they make it such that it is impossible to get it wrong. Oh, I do remember this though. Check this out. I'm going to pop this off again because this is something that bugged me with the other side too as well. Is that though I was gushing about the casting here for the door and how it looks so good, they really did a little disservice here on this edge. So let's take a look at that real quick. Some stuff I'm a pretty big stickler about, and I think this is one that's okay to be a stickler. But you can see the edge right there, the kind of rough edge. And this is cast too as well. It's injected molded. So when they produce these, they're kind of all made in one go. And you can tell that this guy just literally took some cutters. Sorry, not cutters, but yeah, cutters, and just snipped them off. And because of that, you get this kind of really kind of nasty rough edge right there. You can see that. And it does show up because you got the black on white on the door, and that's the first thing I noticed. So I'm gonna go ahead and just shave this down just a little bit, clean up pretty good, just to make sure that it's nice and clean. Nothing crazy, not doing anything nuts. That looks way better. Just a little bit of scraping right there. You can see how much that it cleaned up. Let me see if I can make sure it's in focus for you guys. It's much smoother. It's much more cleaned up. You've got a little bit of one right here. I can feel it just catching my finger just a little bit. So I will just run this across there just a little. This is much better though. That might actually just be leftover paint. That other one was definitely like a sprue line. How it's connected and when it was cast. Other than that, oh yeah, you have a little bit of an edge down here too. You can kind of see it. Maybe. I'll clean that up just a little bit. I don't want to gouge it. But definitely when it's contrasting with that black, excuse me, when contrasting with that black, it'll stand out if it looks kind of shitty on the edges here. And that looks way better. than what it was. So we'll go ahead and place this back on here. Yeah, I'm a lot more satisfied with that edge right here. Cleaning that up made it look so much better. Made it look less like a toy, you know. Even though I believe that there is a thing like this on the AE86s, it's just, yeah, it is raised out there. All right, after you got the trim piece placed on here, we're going to be actually using some AP screws and getting that attached. So I got a couple here. All right, got our trim piece attached. Let's move on to the next piece, which is actually the door handle. That just gets placed in here, just like so, and then we flip it across over, and we're going to be using some YP screws to attach that on the back side. These are super small. Oh my gosh! Actually, I do think I'm going to need the other screwdriver. This is from iFixit. This is an older kit. But unfortunately, the ones that they provide are not like super nice. But the first one I got, this one right here, the screwdriver, has actually been a really great workhorse. Find the right bit. The good thing with this DeAgostini kit is that they provide one extra for every single packet of screws. So they always have an extra one. All right, door handle is on. I'm not going to put this away just yet because I might need it again. Actually, we might need it right now because the next piece is actually the key, the lock. Pull this out real quick. And they did, as I said with the last one, they kind of made it idiot-proof because it's a pretty unique shape right there. You can see that. It's got a flat end on the top, and then the actual piece itself has a flat end on top too as well. So just kind of got to place it in there in the right direction. It'll fit nicely. Make sure I can remember which screw it needs. And we're going to be using an MP screw for that one. So those, and it is extremely small as well, so glad I didn't put this away. All right, MP screw is in, door handle is on, and we've got ourselves a door. Now this is the driver's door, don't forget, on the AE86. So yeah, we've got ourselves a driver's door. Looks really good. All right, and that is part number 83 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. I think the next parts that we're going to be dealing with are going to be door parts, so we're going to get this one built out, just like we did with the last one. Let's take a look at see what we have for part number 84. Yep, so remember we had interior door kind of card area with the screws. We'll get that connected. Yeah. That is part number 83 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. If you haven't before, please like and subscribe. Really helps the channel grow. I really do appreciate you sticking around. I want to give a shout out to William and Aziz thanks guys for commenting on my videos. Really do appreciate your support too as well in getting this model done. So thanks again. My name is Micho Makes. We'll see you guys in part number 84. Bye for now.